bull's got his head down. He's wanting to get his head up. He's going to take him anyway.
Example of why you may not want to become a bull rider.
That's why.
5 tragic bull riding accidents that shook the rodeo world. Rodeo is a sport of extremes, a world where courage meets chaos, and where every ride carries the chance of glory or disaster. For decades, fans have cheered as riders mount massive bulls, animals bred to buck, twist, and defy gravity. The arena lights up, the crowd roars, and for 8 heart-stopping seconds, everything hangs in the balance. Every bull ride tells a story of bravery, skill, and risk, but for some, that risk becomes all too real, turning a moment of triumph into tragedy. Tonight, we explore 5 of the most devastating bull riding accidents in modern rodeo history, stories that shocked the rodeo world and left a permanent mark on those who witnessed them. These are not just stories about injury, they are stories of lives changed forever, careers ended abruptly, and families left to cope with loss. And as you follow this journey, consider subscribing to Real Story 2, so together we can remember the courage, the spirit, and the humanity of these athletes who gave everything for the sport they loved.
Coming up is the U.S. Border Patrol Protection Team goes on the floor.
Nasher 1. Lane Frost, The Last Ride. July 30th, 1989. Cheyenne Frontier Days, Wyoming. Lane Frost, a 25-year-old rising star, had already become a world champion and symbol of rodeo excellence. That day, he mounted a bull named Taking Care of Business, a bull notorious for its unpredictability. Lane rode with skill and determination, earning cheers from the audience. But the moment of triumph turned into horror. As Lane dismounted, the bull turned and struck him with its horn, causing fatal internal injuries. Lane briefly waved for help before collapsing. At just 25 years old, one of the brightest stars in rodeo history was gone. Lane's death sent shockwaves through the rodeo world. It led to increased safety measures, including the introduction of protective vests. But beyond regulations, Lane Frost's legacy remains the courage, joy, and humanity he displayed in every ride. Footage of Lane Frost riding, images of memorials, and interviews with fellow riders. Number 2, Mason Lowe, A Heartbreaking Loss. January 15, 2019, Denver, Colorado. Mason Lowe, a 25-year-old professional bull rider, was competing at the National Western Stock Show. Mason was known for his fearless rides and infectious personality. That day, he rode a bull named Hard Times, but was thrown violently to the ground. The bull's hooves struck him in the chest, causing fatal injuries despite his protective gear. Mason's passing devastated the rodeo community. Ranked 18th in the world at the time, he was a rising star whose life was tragically cut short. Fellow riders remembered his humor, determination, and kindness, mourning not only his skill, but the person he was.
The clock only stops when the rider is thrown off or dismounts. This 8-second ride is considered the heart and soul of professional bull riding competition. Ranked 18th in the world, Mason was well on his way to...
Number 3, Dylan Grant, A Promising Life Cut Short. April 3rd, 2025, Wharton County Youth Fair, Texas. Dylan Grant, a 24-year-old bull rider from Wyoming, had been competing since 2018 and recently won the Mountain States Circuit Finals Rodeo. Dylan's style was smooth and his demeanor calm, even under pressure. During his ride at the Extreme Bulls event, Dylan was thrown from his bull and trampled. Despite immediate medical attention and airlift to a Houston hospital, he succumbed to his injuries. The rodeo community mourned the loss of a promising young athlete whose dedication and talent inspired many. Footage of Dylan riding, highlights of competitions, and memorials. Number 4, Zachary Nagiel, A Miraculous Survival, February 7th, 2025, Palmetto, Florida. Zachary Nagiel, 24, was competing at the Conley Invitation Bull Riding Competition when he was impaled in the neck by a bull's horn. The horn punctured his carotid artery, causing life-threatening blood loss. Spectators watched in horror as emergency personnel rushed to save him. Thanks to immediate medical intervention, Zachary survived. His long recovery involved surgery, rehabilitation, and immense resilience. Zachary's story reminds us of both the dangers of bull riding and the strength of human will to overcome near-death experiences. 5. Jerome Davis, A Career Altered Forever, 1996, Fort Worth, Texas. Jerome Davis, a top-ranked bull rider, faced a terrifying accident. Thrown violently from a bull, Jerome landed headfirst, fracturing and dislocating his neck. The result was permanent paralysis from the chest down, ending his competitive career abruptly. Though his time in the arena ended, Jerome's influence did not. He became an advocate for rider safety, promoting protective gear and mentoring young athletes. His story is one of tragedy transformed into purpose, showing that even in the darkest moments, courage can inspire change. Connecting the stories. Lane Frost, Mason Lowe, Dylan Grant, Zachary Nagel, Jerome Davis. 5 names, 5 lives. Different decades, different arenas, different bulls. These stories highlight the extreme courage required to face animals bred to resist control. They remind us of the thin line between triumph and tragedy and the unpredictability that defines the rodeo world.
It rid of me that easy. You know, everybody always says, "Oh, Jerome's so lucky to have you." And I said, "Nope, I'm the lucky one." They don't realize what an inspiration he is to me, too. He works harder than most people that's got their whole body that works.
Riders remind us that life is fleeting and courage comes at a cost. The Putmans, Tate Anderson, and Tyra Spalding may have shown us resilience in other stories, but in bull riding, Lane, Mason, Dylan, Zachary, and Jerome embody the ultimate test of human bravery. As we honor them, we remember that every ride is precious, every life invaluable. The rodeo world mourns their loss, but celebrates their courage, ensuring that their names and stories will live on. If these stories moved you, consider subscribing to Real Story 2. Join a community that cherishes courage, remembers the fallen, and shares the lessons of bravery, risk, and human spirit. Because while the bull arena can be a place of danger, it is also a place where the human spirit shines brightest, even in tragedy.
Plan